As we like to remind you every once in a while, this show is a conversation. We ask for your comments, your questions during the show, sometimes after, some of which we actually are able to share at the end of the show. And some of those, well, they may take a few days to flesh out. We got this text last week from Kathy in Boise. We can all guess how most streets in Boise are named, she says. For example, 5 Mile, 10 Mile, Meridian Road, etc. I'm curious how Lake Hazel got its name. There's no lake, and who is Hazel? Well, yep, we've done the story on Meridian Road, which is named for Idaho's initial point, and the principal meridian that runs north from there. 5 Mile, 10 Mile, maybe not what you think. It's not because of their distance from really anything in particular. They were just named after creeks. Okay, so what about the lake, as in Lake Hazel? For anybody that has driven through South Ada County and you found yourself on that road or driving by any of the schools that bear the name, you may have asked the same set of questions. Who's this Hazel and where's this lake? Well, there isn't one. But for a short time, there once was. There's the road, the village, and the lions. But that leaves the elementary question of, what about the lake of Lake Hazel? All right, let's go back to June of 1902, when Congress passed the Reclamation Act, which is just a fancy way of saying, let's get some irrigation going here so we can reclaim this dry land and make it livable to encourage settlement. From 1902 to 1907, the Reclamation Act approved about 30 projects across the West. One of those was the Boise Project, which would create a diversion dam on the Boise River, expand the New York Canal, and dig the Deer Flat Reservoir in Nampa, later known as Lake Lowell. But reclamation was already underway in the Treasure Valley. A man named David R. Hubbard, a board member of the Boise Valley Irrigation Association, agreed to create a series of 6 reservoirs in southern Ada County, all of them connected. There was Hubbard Lake, of course, Kuna Lake, Catherine Lake, Watkins Lake, Rawson Lake, and Painter Lake. Painter Lake would soon become Lake Hazel for reasons unknown, but it and the others would soon be gone. After Hubbard finished 5 of those 6 lakes, he stopped to not interfere with the much bigger plans of the Boise Project, which began in 1906. Since diversion and storage stopped, the water dried up, and the lakes were left to the dustbin of history. Yeah, so all those lakes dried up, except Hubbard. It's now known as Hubbard Reservoir Recreation Area, which is about 12 miles southwest of Boise. A lot of that information, by the way, came from research done by Madeline Kelly Buckendorf for a National Register of Historic Places application. So the question, who is this Hazel, that still is unanswered. We're not sure. But now we know at least there was a lake a long time ago. And if anyone can tell us out there where that lake actually was or who Hazel was, we'd love to hear about it.